Keeping Miss Kalila by Tara Frejas. 5 years have passed since the last time she sat down with Datu for dinner. 5 years since they broke up. Her expectations had been low when she, distraught over her sick Aspen, dialed his number the week before to ask for help. She didn't think he'd ditch a prior appointment, drive to her place, and bring her and Rainbow to a vet he knew, but he did anyway. In hindsight, Kalila realized she should have known he'd do this. The Datu she knew would drop anything for her if she asked. At least until his priorities shifted and she became an afterthought. A post-it note buried under piles of scripts, Betacam tapes, and empty cigarette packs. So, what are you working on now, Rekdi? She asked as he set 3 pieces of ready-to-eat shrimp on her plate. The moniker worked like a string that pulled one corner of his lips up in a smirk. For love or for money? Tell me something about both. Well, I'm happy to say we have a steady stream of commercial projects, TVCs, music videos, stuff like that. It helps pay the bills, feed ourselves. We were going to do a new short film to feed our soul, but I guess it'll have to starve for a couple of months. Funding problem? A shrug meant yes. I thought the Summer Crush gig was going to give us a little financial push, but we're still short. A pause, then a sigh. Maybe I shouldn't have pitched something so ambitious. But then it wouldn't be you. Look at you, armed and ready with the right words to say, he remarked, grinning. I've always loved that about you. For a split second, Kalila assumed Datu would backpedal, say something to water down the statement. None came. Instead, he beamed at her, his eyes shining with what she could only describe as delight. The sight was making her dizzy. No, wait. She was actually dizzy. Datu, will you excuse me a moment? I think I need some fresh air. The park just outside the restaurant strip was a lush green space smack dab in the middle of Makati's central business district. Often spotted here were employees from nearby offices taking a brief respite from work, the health-conscious who jog around the park, and families bringing their kids to dine out and play. Perhaps it was because school was still out for the summer that Kalila had already seen 3 couples, with kids having a stroll in the 5-ish minutes she'd spent sitting at this park bench. Seeing all of them somehow made her feel a tiny bit better. She heard a soft rustling behind her, crunchy leaves yielding under the weight of someone's footsteps. A glance up and she saw Datu park a plain brown paper bag on the space beside her. You all right? Okay. He sat with her and didn't make a fuss out of the dinner that got cut short. Instead, they fell into a conversation about his work and her work and all the other things in between. He made her laugh with funny anecdotes from their last film shoot, and she got him interested in the educational facility in Pasay City where she works as a teacher. They burned through a lot of topics so effortlessly and without a hint of awkwardness, it made Kalila's heart smile. 5 years apart, and she didn't lose her friend after all. Except she wasn't sure it was right to still call Datu a friend. They crossed that bridge a long time ago. A leap they both took and cherished while it lasted. Oh, hey, are you coming to our high school reunion week after next? She asked. I don't know, are you? Datu replied, the deep baritone of his voice feeling like a caress over the shell of her ear. She only now realized there was very little space left between them, and if she so much as turned her head, the tip of her nose would brush against his cheek. That made her nervous. Yes? She inched away, dropped her phone into her bag, and tried her hardest not to stare at the sweat-sheened valley between his collarbones. Somewhere between discussing rehashed storylines and the cost of colored chalk, Datu seemed to find undoing a few buttons on his wine-red shirt necessary, which was so inconvenient because, hello, Hormones. Do you want to take a walk? It was more of a suggestion than a question, really, and when he agreed, Kalila immediately got up on her feet and followed the stone path leading to a row of shops. Whew, thank goodness the nausea was gone. Now she needed to expend all this pent-up energy. Wait for me, he called out, catching up to her in just a few strides. Their sweaty arms touched for a brief second, and Kalila inched away as discreetly as she could. I have something to tell you. Shoot! Okay, here goes. I never thought I'd be able to spend time with you like this ever again, Tatu said, sounding like he was catching his breath. When I saw your name on my phone screen last week, I thought, there's no way it's real, but it was. And it might sound irrational, but when I heard your voice and saw your face, it just brought me back to a good time in my life, which I deeply missed. And I know we were both freaking out over Rainbow that night, but Tatu pressed a hand to his chest. It felt wonderful, just seeing you again. And if it's okay with you, I'd like to continue spending time with you. What do you mean? I want to ask you out. On dates. Plural. Oh. Oh no. Why? Because I want to try this again, Kalila. I want to take a shot at another chance with you. Oh God, Tatu. Oh, wow, this is a lot to process. I don't think you want what you want. I don't think you will want what I think you want when you... The conviction in his eyes started to fade, and Kalila felt dread creep into her racing heart. Kalila, it's all right. You can just tell me. With a sigh, Kalila simply said, I'm pregnant. Keeping Miss Kalila by Tara Frejas.